Hollywood may be all about glitz and glam, but some stars have darker secrets hiding behind their fame. From criminal scandals to outright evil deeds, these actors have taken things to a whole new level, and somehow, some are still walking free. Think you've heard it all? Wait until you see who made the list of our top 10 most evil actors in Hollywood. Brace yourselves. This one is going to leave you speechless. On the outside, he might seem dreamy, but Mel Gibson is a name that sends shivers down the spine of most seasoned Hollywood insiders. Once the golden boy of cinema, his career hit a colossal iceberg after a series of jaw-dropping scandals. You guys remember the infamous DUI arrest of 2006? Well, if you don't, hold on, because Gibson was caught spewing anti-Semitic rants that made everyone do a double take. Who knew that he could go from directing Braveheart to sounding like a villain straight out of a B movie? Fast forward to 2010, and things took another wild turn when recordings surfaced of him making violent threats and unleashing a torrent of racist and misogynistic slurs. Talk about a public relations nightmare. Despite his undeniable talent, these shocking revelations have left many questioning whether the talented filmmaker is a tortured genius or just plain evil. So what's the deal with Gibson? Is he a misunderstood artist fighting his demons, or a relic of Hollywood's darker days? As we ponder on that, stay tuned, because our next contender takes evil to another height and even got away. Errol Flynn. Known as Hollywood's dashing rogue, Errol was known for his swashbuckling roles and a charm that could sweep anyone off their feet. But beneath that handsome facade lies a shadowy reputation that has left many gasping. This is the man who lit up the silver screen in classics like The Adventures of Robin Hood, yet his off-screen escapades were anything but heroic. Flynn was notorious for his wild parties where booze flowed like water, and his conquest often included women half his age, igniting scandals and raising eyebrows everywhere. His life was a tapestry of controversy, including a highly publicized trial for statutory rape that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Robin Hood did something no fairy tale could have ever seen coming. His legal troubles began in 1942 when he was accused of statutory rape by not just one but two underage girls, 17-year-old Beverly Adland and 15-year-old Joan F. The case was so crazy it made headlines and became a sensational trial that captivated the public. The allegations claimed that Flynn had engaged in sexual relations with the girls, who later testified against him. The worst part is that despite the gravity of the accusations, the trial became more of a spectacle, with Flynn's charisma and fame playing a significant role in swaying public opinion. His defense argued that the encounters were consensual and that the girls had lied about their ages. Ultimately, Flynn was acquitted of the charges, but the trial left a lasting stain on his reputation. But somehow, this man still continued to have a successful career in Hollywood. Now the question is this: was he just a misunderstood heartthrob or a devil in disguise? Whatever he is, the next person is simply worse. Once the beloved star of that 70s show, Danny's life took a sharp detour into darkness no one could have seen coming. This guy was all about that charming, laid-back vibe until the accusations hit the fan. In 2020, Masterson faced serious charges of rape, leaving fans in Hollywood alike in disbelief. I mean, this was the guy who made us laugh with his goofy antics, and the worst thing he did was look for Donna's pants. Yet behind the scenes, he was allegedly living a twisted double life. His trial had everyone talking with testimonies that would make your jaw drop. It was a classic case of who do you trust, as the actor claimed it was all a conspiracy against him. Seriously? Conspiracy? In the end, Masterson was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison on September 7th of 2023. But what do you think about his case? If he made you worried, then the next one is bound to crush your childhood. If the name isn't familiar, then you definitely dodged a heartbreak bullet. For those who missed it, Gordon was the kid who charmed us as Greg Hefley in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. You know that adorable kid with a big smile? Well, behind that innocent exterior lies the tale that left fans stunned. See, Grantham didn't just steal scenes, he also admitted to killing his mother and plotting to assassinate the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Sounds like a lie, but this was a serious plot twist that no one was expecting. He apparently shot his mom in 2020 and then packed his car with weapons and Molotov cocktails, all while dreaming of a disastrous trip to the Prime Minister's house. Talk about a one-way trip to Crazy Town. Grantham's trial revealed he rehearsed his plans, even filming confessions after the fact. It's like he thought he was in some twisted movie rather than facing real-life consequences. At this point, We can't even tell who's a wimpy kid and who's a wacko in disguise. But somehow the next person is still worse. Next on our list of Hollywood's most notorious figures is Armie Hammer, a man whose charming smile once lit up the screen but now sends shivers down our spines. It all kicked off in January of 2021 when an anonymous woman known as House of Effie blew the lid off a scandal that had everyone's jaws dropping. She claimed to have had a 4-year affair with Hammer, during which he allegedly sent her graphic texts about cannibalism, rape fantasies, and his sickening desire to drink her blood. I mean, what even is that? Within days, Hammer was out of a job, dropping out of Shotgun Wedding and making excuses that sounded more like a bad movie script than a genuine apology. And it didn't stop there, because other women began stepping forward, detailing their own emotional abuse, coercion, and even allegations of branding. Yes, branding. Hammer's world was unraveling, and he was still more concerned about a stolen Instagram video of himself with a former Miss Cayman than the horrifying claims against him. As the police launched an investigation into sexual assault claims, many were left wondering, how did this charming leading man become the face of Hollywood's darkest secrets? With stories like these swirling, can we ever really know who we're rooting for in Tinseltown? Well, at least we know the next person is just evil, no one can deny it. Kevin Spacey's transformation from Hollywood icon to alleged predator is something no one had on their bingo cards, but boy oh boy, was it insane. Captured in the new documentary Spacey Unmasked, the 2-part series features 10 men recounting their experiences of alleged abuse by the actor, including disturbing accounts from his high school years through his time on House of Cards. One interviewee labeled Spacey a soulless monster. Directed by Catherine Haywood, the documentary explored Spacey's troubled upbringing, including insights into his estranged brother Randy Fowler, who suggested that psychological trauma may have contributed to Spacey's alleged behavior. But that's not all, because former production staff described a toxic work environment where Spacey's predatory reputation was an open secret. Spacey was charged with indecent assault and sexual assault in the United Kingdoms in 2019. However, the charges were dropped in 2022 due to lack of evidence. Of course, the actor denied the allegation and claimed he had insufficient opportunity to respond. But what do you think? Next on our list is Bill Cosby, once hailed as America's dad for his lovable role on The Cosby Show. But this comedy legend quickly morphed into a figure of disbelief and disgust as allegations of sexual assault piled up like old VHS tapes. In 2005, the story began to unravel when Andrea Constand accused him of drugging and assaulting her at Temple University. Initially, the district attorney refused to charge Cosby, but he eventually settled out of court for a whopping $3 million. Did that stop the floodgates? Of course not, because over 50 women came forward with their own tales of drug-induced assaults, and suddenly, Bill was no longer the charming patriarch we adored. Things took a wilder turn when a viral stand-up set by comedian Hannibal Buress called out Cosby as a rapist, lighting the fire under these long-hidden truths. In 2017, after a hung jury trial, he was finally found guilty of drugging and assaulting Constand in 2018, earning a sentence of 3 to 10 years in prison. But in a twist that felt straight out of a bad sitcom, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned his conviction in 2021, citing a supposed deal from years prior. Why do you think they did that? Next on our list of Hollywood's most notorious figures is none other than Harvey Weinstein, a man who went from being the most powerful mogul to a symbol of everything that's gone wrong in Tinseltown. Once the master behind blockbuster hits like Pulp Fiction and Shakespeare in Love, Weinstein was known for his fierce ambition and cold demeanor, but behind that facade lurked a terrible predator. In 2017, the floodgates opened when numerous women bravely stepped forward with allegations of sexual assault and harassment, exposing Weinstein's grim behavior. We're talking about a guy who allegedly used his industry clout to trap aspiring actresses in hotel rooms under the guise of business meetings, only to turn those meetings into absolute nightmares. The stories range from unwanted advances to outright assault, leaving Hollywood and the world in shock. With more than 80 women coming forward, Weinstein was charged with multiple counts of sexual assault, and in 2020, he was sentenced to 23 years in prison. But even as his empire crumbled, he tried to play the victim card, claiming that he was the target of a conspiracy. Again, what is it with these conspiracies? Now I know what you're asking yourself. How could someone possibly top Harvey Weinstein? Next up is Roman Polanski. a name that is synonymous with cinematic brilliance and moral controversy. This Oscar-winning director gave us iconic films like Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown, showcasing his genius in storytelling, but his life story is a dark labyrinth filled with scandals that overshadows his artistic achievements. Polanski's troubles began in 1977 when he was arrested for drugging and sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl, Samantha Gailey, at Jack Nicholson's home. The details of that night are chilling and leave little room for debate about his actions. Initially, he faced charges that could have sent him to prison for decades. But here's where it gets weird. Polanski fled the United States to escape sentencing, leaving behind a whirlwind of disbelief and outrage. Since then, he's lived in France, creating films that have garnered critical acclaim, but also protests from those who refuse to separate the artist from the man. While he's enjoyed a successful career abroad, the specter of his past looms large, raising questions about accountability and redemption in Hollywood. But then, we have this next guy, who was so evil, he changed the world. Literally. Let's turn back the clock to the dark days of 1865, and we get to meet John Wilkes Booth, the actor turned assassin who became infamous for one of the most shocking acts in American history. Known for his good looks and charm, Booth was a rising star on the stage, but beneath that charismatic exterior lied a fierce loyalty to the Confederacy and a growing resentment for everyone's favorite president, Abraham Lincoln. On that fateful night of April 14th, Booth made his way to the Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C. with murder on his mind. As Lincoln was enjoying a performance of Our American Cousin, Booth slipped into the presidential box and fired a single bullet into the back of Lincoln's head, quite literally reshaping the world forever. The chaos that followed was like something out of a bad melodrama, with audience members frozen in shock and confusion. After the assassination, Booth didn't just flee the scene, he became a fugitive, leading authorities on a wild manhunt that lasted 12 days. Finally, his escape ended in a barn in Virginia where he was shot and killed by Union soldiers. Though it's been more than 150 years, it is said that the world still has not healed from his evil. And there you have it, folks. The top 10 most evil actors in Hollywood. These actors prove that behind the glitz and glam, some stars have dark and disturbing sides to them. From shocking behind-the-scenes behavior to manipulative power plays, these actors have left a trail of controversy and mortal questions that make us wonder just how far they went for fame. But what do you think? Were these actors truly as evil as their reputation suggests? Or is there more going on that we don't see? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this deep dive into Hollywood's darker side intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more shocking stories from the world of film and fame. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and remember, some stars shine bright, but others cast a shadow. Catch you in the next video.